moments before, was now flooded with red. Harvey watched as the puddles washed the blood away, and he murmured a silent prayer that the rain would do the same for his immortal soul. "Harvey," Bryce said sharply. Harvey's gaze shot toward him, and he flinched. Bryce hadn't worn his brown-coloured contacts since that night at St. Morse, when he revealed himself to be a Malison, someone with the talent to create curses known as shades. A talent the world feared but hadn't believed to truly exist. And despite always knowing what Bryce was, Harvey wasn't used to this adjustment. Bryce's Malison scarlet eyes were a reminder of how low Harvey had fallen. But Harvey's gaze didn't stop there. Of course it didn't. It travelled across Bryce's face, down concave cheekbones and lips chapped from kissing someone who wasn't him, down bony shoulders, and a tall, skinny frame, over threadbare clothes and a black wool coat that draped shapelessly over him. Harvey lingered on the places he had kissed, on slender fingers and narrow hips, and the smooth, pale skin between. Those memories haunted him. Bryce didn't pay Harvey's staring any attention. He never did. His concentration was focused on the card in his hand. He ran his thumb over its foiled gold back. It was a shadow card, one of the cursed cards the Phoenix Club used to play the shadow game. Except it wasn't. Shadow cards were silver. This one belonged to a different game, one Bryce and his girlfriend Rebecca had devised themselves, one they had set in motion at St. Morse 2 nights prior. Harvey had helped them deliver golden cards to every designated player across New Reynes, and now all that remained was to wait for the star player to make a move. "They're here. I can feel it," Bryce said hoarsely, squeezing the card so hard it bent. By they, he meant the bargainer. The City of Sin treated all of its legends with a hallowed reverence, and this one was the oldest, most famous of them all. The wandering devil who would bargain for anything. Bryce had been obsessed with the tale for a year, ever since Rebecca had fallen sick. Despite every effort, ethical or otherwise, Rebecca wasn't improving, and Bryce had convinced himself that her last hope for a cure was the bargainer's power. It was why he'd murdered all those people at St. Morse, a desperate, ruthless attempt for the bargainer's attention. "I'll sell my soul if that's what it takes," Bryce had once confided in Harvey, back when his smiles weren't so much like sneers, when he looked more like the boy Harvey used to love, the kinder version of himself, the one Harvey couldn't manage to let go of. Though Harvey had never voiced his opinion, Bryce had lost his soul the moment he'd formulated this despicable plan. They all had. Harvey tried to ignore Bryce's words. In the legend, the bargainer approached people of their own choosing. The only way to summon them directly was through chaos. Surely Bryce wouldn't attempt such evil, Harvey had once told himself. But he had. And since that night at St. Morse, all of New Reynes seemed ablaze. The Skyhands, the largest gang in the seedy north side, had crumbled, their lord executed. Seance, the notorious assassin of Chancellor Malcolm Semper, had been unmasked as both the last surviving Mizer and, to the city's shock, a 17-year-old girl from finishing school. Mafia Donna Bianca Augustine had been shot dead, and her son had won his election. Lackluster Casino had burned, and the Torren family empire along with it. Thanks to Bryce, the City of Sin was in a state worse than chaos. It was in hell. And now, the devil had returned home. Even though Harvey was an accomplice in Bryce's plans, the thought of all that had transpired, and all that was still left to unfold, filled him with dread. He tried to focus on the shovel and the dirt and the grave, on this one good thing. But his sins weighed heavy on his soul. "Harvey,"